expenditure side of things. We also have to start thinking about, continue thinking about the amount of roads that need replaced right now. Because we had that engineering study done a couple years ago, and it allowed us to determine the worst roads at that time, and that's what we bonded against. But we always knew that we needed a capital plan ourselves, and we needed to move forward in a few years on another, bond issuance in order to repave roads. Because with, the roads not, if you don't maintain them, they just continue to deteriorate, right? The dips in the roads, those are very costly. It's $25,000 and it only fixed like 7 dips in the road last year, and we did another 30,000, and it got us 6 of them or whatever. But there's some roads in this town that are very bad. We used some MFT dollars most recently to do Crown Point, Windermere. So that road's taken care of, but that came from MFT. But going back to the per capita numbers in MFT, that line item source is going to drop 19.8%. It goes down from so we get $24.94. That's going to drop to $20. We see a $20,500 loss in that revenue line item. We used to get $103,000. We're going to get $82,960 on that one. So, in terms of these improvements in this bike trail, we've got significant revenues in our reserves to where we can absorb some of that. We could absorb all this, actually. But do we want to do that? And then second of all, we need to talk about, doing another bond issuance for roads and stuff like that. And then would it just make sense to actually roll up the bike trail monies into that bond and just pay for it over 20 years, like most places would do anyway, right? So I would like for everybody to consider that and those avenues as we proceed and move forward. Any questions regarding that bike trail? Anybody have, anybody want to state any kind of questions, what you think of it?
Well, for 10 years we've been talking about it, hearing about it. The citizens of Williamsville and Sherman have been talking about it, looking forward to it, being excited about it, looking forward to walking it from Williamsville to Sherman. There's a lot of interest in it, as we know, because we get the questions. So I mean, it's going to be a pretty tough call to say, no, we're not going to do it.
I agree with you 1,000,000%.
Turn around and have to pay almost.
And then pay like we would have paid if we'd done it anyway. So,
It's going to be hard to get up. I mean,
Yeah.
I want it. I think everybody wants it, but like
Yeah.
I said, if we don't, it's going to hurt us some grants later on, maybe.
Yep.
And if we think
and we're still going to have to pay.
right. If we think about the senators and representatives coming up and stepping up to the plate, helping us get money for that, working with Ameren, we're getting close to what we need.
And initially we had thought that when we went forward, it was basically we thought we'd be half of this amount. So coming up with like 250,000 was a lot different than coming up with 508,000, right?
Right.
But if Ameren and the state reps and the senator come down,
It could put us back to that.
put us back down to square one. Would be
Yeah, there's no guarantee.
Right.
But there is no guarantee.
Right. And so here's one of the things that we had talked about, or they had talked about, and was communicated back to me, is the fact that they're somewhat giving us a commitment, right?
Right.
Kind of. They can't 100%.
This is no windmill money to do.
Who?
Senator Brady and State Representative.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Butler.
we can't, so we may have to.
So we have a check in hand.
Yeah, we may have to float it in order to get it back, right?
Right.
It's,
Yeah.
But what I need, what me, as, serving in this position right now, needs is essentially the consensus and to know where Kim Rockford, Jay Tim, Brian Long, Pam Gray, Kevin Schultz, Jay Tim, all stand regarding this. So, no, what? Or Brett Vaughn, I'm sorry. I looked at you.
You get two votes.
Well, you're for it, so.
I mean, I would really think every, I mean,
I go with that. down Anchor Road here, the GPC or whatever. it's called.
Oh, that's
Go all the way to the west side of town and back.
Yeah. It is, it's so nice.
Oh, that's right.
So everybody is supportive,
That's crazy.
and wants us and Village of Williamsville to move forward on this, and when the vote comes, you know, regarding the funding for it, everybody's going to be there, right? Because like I said, we're at crunch time where we have to accept this bid by, July 27th. And I didn't say this earlier. If we were to rebid this and kick Autocom out, there is so much work right now in the state of Illinois that like minds all believe that the future bidding will come in significantly higher than what the bids were right now.
So, when are we going to vote on this then? Or just like make the decision?
We'll know by the 27th.
Well, with your, I mean, you know, we're such a great team as it is. You guys have all said right now that you're committed to making this project go
Okay.
forward. We only got, well, what's today, what's today,
A week.
21st? So I just need to know, so I can tell Mayor Yockley
Okay.
and the engineer that the board is supportive, whether the